Hey guys, watch my new bike trick. Whoa!
Accidents happen. When they do, LaPorte Hospital can help you get on the road to recovery faster. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. Less waiting, faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at LaPorte Hospital.
Joyeux Noël!
Mele Kalikimaka.
Feliz Navidad.
Hello, my name is Father Walter Ciesla from St. Stanislaus Kotscott Church and School here in Michigan City. St. Stanislaus Parish family and wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas. We invite you to celebrate the birth of our Savior with us this year. On Christmas Eve, we will have a family Mass at 4 o'clock p.m. Our midnight Mass will begin with the singing of Christmas carols at 11 o'clock p.m. and the midnight Mass will be celebrated promptly at 12 o'clock a.m. Following this Mass, we will serve breakfast in the church hall. On Christmas Day, you're welcome to join us for Christmas Mass at 10 o'clock a.m. We hope that your family will be able to share in this joyous season with us. Wesołych świąt Bożego Narodzenia i szczęśliwego Nowego Roku. Have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas!
Maligayang Pasko.
I am. Sanders, executive producer, are you ready? He's got that cool deep voice.
I know, I love it. I love
crazy.
the things he made for you too. I think he did such a great job.
Isn't he awesome?
Mm-hmm, he did. I
I'm
know.
all about him.
I'm a little sad about today's show. It's our last show with Katie.
Well, for now.
I know, for now.
For now.
For now, yeah.
You never
officially in this capacity in this year, but we certainly are. We definitely will have you back.
Thank you.
Anyways, we love you. We want you to be here all the time.
That's what the ding was. This better not be Katie's last show.
Yeah, I know.
Katie!
That's
Katie.
right. Hey, absolutely.
I so love it. Well, it is another great installment, another live installment of Younger Life Live. Rick Federici, Mary Anthony, Katie Sarver from the LaPorte Hospital. What is your gig, by the way? Because you are just full of great facts and you're awesome.
Thank you. I am the manager of wellness outreach for the organization.
Awesome.
So my department is very small but mighty. That's what we always say. And we run our internal colleague wellness program as well as a large majority of the external offerings that we do out in the community. So community presentations, screenings for blood pressure, glucose, bone density, colorectal cancer. We're just out and about spreading our knowledge on healthy topics to the community.
And positive energy, kind of like
Absolutely. Well, that's why I think that we love having Katie here so much, is because she gets excited just about everyday stuff like we do, but especially the topic of wellness is really the core of the idea of our show. You know, is about wellness and just ideas. Little changes in our own lives. We're all human. We don't expect you to change your life 100%, but just all these little bitty things that we learn about, and we love having you here sharing them with us.
Baby steps.
They are.
They are
The
baby
right
steps.
direction.
You got it. You got it. I love
wonderful.
being here. I'm gonna miss it. I said that to my husband last night. I was like, "This is my last live show for the year."
It's a bummer.
Hopefully, 2017. We can do something.
Yeah,
but
we
yeah,
will.
it's a bummer because it has. It's been a blast. Don't cry.
It is. It really is. It's been a great time. We really appreciated too that we realized how busy your schedule is, and so to dedicate to us once a week for the last 6 weeks is a lot. And
I wouldn't have
and
changed
so
that for
we're
the
so
world.
glad that you did.
Hey, do you want a job?
Yeah, let's do that.
I have to say this for the record. Now, Katie, you heard us talking on the way in on the radio partner show between 6A and 9A Central with WIMS AM 1420. Your husband, you are the cutest couple in the whole wide world. I know you've got a great partner, and I know I've got a great partner as well. But you guys are so cute. You're always happy.
We try to be. I mean, I think we do try to be. I think that we that's something we share. We prefer to be positive and happy, and So we do like that. It's funny, Mary Gelati sent me a little text last night, said, had a great time at the lunch. And she said, you and Jeremy are darling.
Oh, I miss her. I just love her. I
She
used to
is
see her all
so
the time.
she's a hoot
Yes,
anyway.
she is.
I mean,
Oh,
she
yes.
cracks me
Yes.
up, you know. I said, well, we love visiting
Absolutely.
with you, Mary. It's just fun. It was
yeah.
nice. And, you know, it has been a really great year. We've had a lot of people that have been great
people.
friends to us
Yes.
that I think is important to point out when maybe we've struggled to, you know, or had a guest drop out last second. That happens a lot. It's just, you know, kind of the
business.
nature of it.
Yeah.
Kind of the nature of the way things go. And we've always had those people, you know, a handful of people that no matter what will say, okay, we'll do this. And you've been one of them. And I think we really appreciate it. You know, I think it's just been, I don't know what we would have done without, you know, like Christy from the library or Robin from Michigan City Library. There's just been so many of you core people, you know, Dwayne, Jackie, Jenny. I mean,
Love 'em.
What would we do? You know, the Rittenhouse people, if last second we couldn't call and say, yikes, we have this issue. And, you know, you guys have always been so willing to jump in. So thank you again, Katie, honestly.
Well, you're welcome, and thanks for always having
And
me
I
on.
love what
You're
we're
awesome.
talking about today.
Seriously.
I love that we're
Yes.
talking about winter wellness in general.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Important topic. There were so many different articles. That's what I was trying to pull up. I'd sent myself all of these things that I wanted to make sure that I could reference that were just were neat in talking about why it's important to try to still stick with our fitness goals in the winter and stuff, because I am one of those people that it's easy to go, oh yeah, later.
When the springtime
I
comes.
was gonna
Yeah,
say,
when
but
the
I think
nicer
a
weather
lot of
comes.
us-
Well, I think it's
lot
true,
of
but you know,
us.
getting closer to the end of the year, talking about New Year's resolutions,
Yeah.
is that a good thing or a bad thing? And if we do try to do them, how realistic is it, and how can we keep it realistic if we're going to set resolutions? And so we're back to that goal
Can I ask
setting.
a question? And the stats of how many people after a week or two say,
Right.
I'm done. That would be incredible.
Well,
'Cause
absolutely.
It's got to be a huge number.
Right. I can't, or how quickly do they throw them out? I think
That's
that
what-
there is
great.
a stat.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember because we had, right after the first of the year when we started,
Yes.
we had made a reference to, I think they said by January 20th or by January 25th, most New Year's resolutions are out the window.
Yes.
And you have to think you're
Yes.
still in the month you made them.
Right.
Which is,
But you know, if you actually keep to them and stick to them for 21 pure straight days,
Yeah.
you are, I think it's like 62-ish% more likely to
Really?
Ooh,
continue
good.
on that route. So because it takes, what the research shows is it takes 21 days to make an actual habit.
Yeah.
So if we can focus on that 21 days and really go forward with that, and then we've made it a habit. We've told ourselves, oh, we're not going to miss our exercise, or we're not going to, you know, binge eat on all of these you know,
Sure.
sweets and treats
Sure.
and whatnot.
More to-
Because it matters to me, and I've seen the changes in myself in these 21 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, so even though a lot of people will drop out before the end of January, more than likely they had already missed several days in that
Certainly.
month, or
Certainly.
you know, they've just kind of said it's just not for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's hard as a health coach, is just trying to engage these individuals to realize that it is the right time for you right now, because you wouldn't be sitting here in front of me if it wasn't. So, you know, how can I help you to realize that, you know, what your potential is for the year, and, you know, keep moving forward with it, and keep on track with it. And, there's just so many different things that you can do in order to make sure that your goals are met. But first of all, making sure that you're setting realistic goals and SMART goals. You know, they have to be specific. They have to be measurable. You know, we have to keep that acronym of SMART in mind when we move forward with that. So if you're sitting
you
here
said
going,
it's an acronym. Will you share that with
yep.
us? It's just
So
been a
we
while.
have with the SMART goals, it's SMART. So you need to make sure that they're specific or significant, measurable or meaningful. Your A is going to be attainable or action oriented. Your R is relevant or rewarding, and your T is time bound or trackable.
That is
So
absolutely phenomenal.
that
Yeah.
is the one thing that is most important in making sure that the goals that you set are successful. Because anybody can say, oh, I want to travel around the world in 2017. That's great. Where's your specific measurements? You know, I mean, why is it important to you? What's so attainable about that? What's our measurable outcome? And so when someone comes to me in a health coaching session and says, I want to lose 100 pounds by December 31st, how are we going to get to that point? I need to know, and where are the baby steps? I mean, you don't just say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds and that's the goal that you focus on. You're going to say, I'm going to lose 100 pounds and here's how I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
So between weeks 1 and 3, my goal is to lose 5 pounds by doing this.
Yeah.
And then you actually set out that and then say, and I'm going to track it this way. And then weeks 3 through 5, I'm going to lose another 5 pounds by doing this while maintaining what I did in weeks 1 through 3. And so it's like a pyramid almost of all these stacks right on top of each other, the blocks building them up. And then the very top is your peak. And by the time we've gotten to, the end of the year, hopefully you've achieved your goal through all of the things that you set yourself up
Excellent
with. So
point.
I can't imagine
I'd like to
setting
use that
that
for
goal.
30 pounds.
Do you know what I was going to say? Even like I fluctuate the same 20 all the time. I can't imagine
Sure.
having a goal like that. But people do it.
They
Sure.
do.
And I always think it's just
and they're
so
successful.
That's
Yes.
it. And it's amazing to me
Yeah.
that someone can set such a weight loss is such a difficult thing. I mean, I think
Oh, sure.
the majority of people struggle with at least 5 pounds of this or that. You know what I mean? The majority of people deal with that at some point. And I think that's a struggle for everyone. And
Oh, yeah,
wow, I
absolutely.
can't imagine. But it does make perfect sense. To set any goal, I don't care what it is, even saving. Okay,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm not the best saver, but to do that, you do have to have a plan in place. You can't just
Yes.
it's not realistic.
But
to
it does
say.
vary. Let's be honest, because we had this conversation yesterday as we
Mm-hmm.
all had lunch. You have a family. I don't care if it's of 3
Oh, yeah.
or 4. We all have children.
Yeah.
It's like, you're looking at paying your bills, making sure the lights are still on, making sure there's good food on the table. There's a lot to that. And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so we could play around this, and this.
Yeah.
So don't beat
It's
yourself
always
up.
it's always moving, and I joke that honestly, I've said this 100 times, and this might sound irresponsible of me. If money or nail biting about let me just make sure that if that's my biggest concern in life forever, I'll deal with it. I'm very happily married and have wonderful kids. As long as everybody stays healthy and happy, the rest of that. And if that's my burden, I'll deal with that. That's not that big of a deal, overall, that's what I always
Agreed.
think. Something else breaks, I came out yesterday morning and my van tire was flat.
Oh,
Okay,
my
so we
gosh.
rearranged our schedules so my husband could bring me, which worked out very well. But he was going to do some other things before our lunch yesterday. But we made it work. Who cares?
Yeah.
It happened to be he was off, and that worked out very, very well. And so I said, what? I wasn't angry or upset about it. I said, well, look, instead we get to go together. How fun! I get to have a driver. That's nice. It was nice. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely agree with
And you
you.
have to do those things. You have to say, okay, yeah, this happened.
That's
it's not
it.
the greatest, but let's make the most of
Well,
it.
and I think especially
turn
when
it
people
into
are
positive.
setting goals,
Yes.
that they're, even if it's a realistic goal, they're not realistic in the fact that there's going to be bumps. No matter
Correct.
what your goal is, I don't care what it's about.
Absolutely.
You're going to have
Absolutely.
times where, if it is dieting, that bag of peanut M&Ms looks too good to pass up. You know
Right.
what I mean? Or
Right.
something might, it's always going to throw you off track a little bit. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It's part of life. So what?
Yep.
Stick to it as close as you can.
Well, and that's
from
the
that point
biggest thing.
forward.
Yes, really not if you miss a day of exercise or you miss a day of healthy eating, are you really going to eat just a salad on Christmas morning?
Yeah.
Or Christmas afternoon or whatever with your family? I highly doubt that.
Right.
You need to indulge in those things. You need to enjoy the things that you absolutely love about life in general and being with the people that you love, and so don't get down on yourself if you had a day of what some people might call a slip up or oh, that was a bump in the road or a barrier, or maybe you get sick. I mean,
That's it.
this time of year, we're prone to flu, prone to colds, and we'll chat a little bit about that too, about how we might be able to keep ourselves a little bit healthier this winter. But the thing is that why get so down on yourself about that? It's just an illness. It
doesn't help.
It's you've got a week to kick it out, and by the time you get back to things, starting your exercise routine back up will definitely assist you in getting better and recovery.
I think
sooner.
too, and you being a wellness coach and kind of looking at all these different things, I think in this room, that positive energy, no matter what's going on, I think adds and
Absolutely.
tightens what you're trying to accomplish. I mean,
Absolutely.
I think
Yep.
we would all agree on that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. And a lot of times you'll find yourself just getting so upset about something, and I do this too. And my husband's always like, seriously, it's you need to chill
I find
out.
myself doing the same.
It's not a big deal. So you lost the nail clippers, or like the scissors are missing. Go buy a new pair. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, stop freaking out about those small little things that are going to. I mean, if your goal is to, let's just say you want to save up $100 because there's something special that you wanted to buy for yourself, a new winter coat or something like that, and then. Let's take Mary's case, for example.
Yeah.
She goes out to her car. She has a flat tire. Now she has to have it repaired. Okay, so, I'm set back $50 or whatever it is. If you had to buy a new tire, you're set back a little bit more. But you just tell yourself, it's just in the cards. It's perfectly fine. Let's not get upset about it. Let's not, overdo the stress about it. Just let it go. And we could start singing the Frozen song.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny though. I mean,
You two could do that.
I've heard you sing, Rick. You got a pretty good voice.
He sings a whole lot better than I. I would not be doing that. It is true though about letting it go. It makes things a little bit easier to deal with when you don't set such high expectations. I mean, it's good to set high expectations, but to hold yourself to an unrealistic standard, or somebody, or your children, or your spouse to an unrealistic standard, is only setting yourself up to be angry and struggle to find that positive energy, that positive attitude.
Do you pass that along as moms or as a coach to those folks that you're trying to help? It's not only about you, but I think it's about keeping everybody in your groove, in your life, in your family,
Absolutely.
on that positive
Yes.
level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's very important to do your best to remain positive in all situations. And then when you see somebody that's having a stressful situation or is down in the dumps about something, work to figure out, what's going on. Let me see if I can help you with that. And, talk to them. I mean, I do that with my kids often. My husband's fabulous at doing that with our kids, to be completely honest. He's probably better than I am with them. But when it comes to, the individuals that I help coach, that's an easy thing for me to sit back and say, let's chat a little bit more about this. What's coming to mind to you when you say that, whatever.
Do you find a lot of people sometimes just need an outside party's perspective?
Absolutely.
It's difficult sometimes to separate yourself from whatever. Say, the nail clippers thing is funny, but say you're frantically looking for the nail clippers and you can't find them anywhere. Sometimes you just need someone outside of that.
Correct.
You're staying telling all the kids, where'd you put them?
Right. Yeah.
Someone outside of that to say, hey, not that big of a deal.
Exactly.
On any level, no matter what you're talking about, I feel like sometimes an outside opinion is just a little easier.
Or just, somebody to be able to say, talk to me a little bit about what's going on with this, like what happened. So maybe I can assist you in, getting past this.
Sometimes just saying it out loud too then seems funny.
Right.
I would imagine. I mean, it
is.
There's been many times where I've been yelling at a kid and then I find myself hearing what the argument is about, what I'm yelling about.
Oh, yes.
And it's funny. I'll never
And then you're
forget.
like, oh, wait a second.
This is
Why am I
so
getting
terrible.
so
And
upset?
this is so, well, this is how our family rolls. I'm just going to say this. But, my kids always have bathroom humor, and it drives me crazy. I mean, I'm just as guilty to laugh and carry on at them, but not at the dinner table. I used to be really, really funny. But when before my boys were even born, my girls were all very young. And I can't even remember. I was putting stuff on the table, and I think at the time my daughter was 5. My middle daughter was about 5, and she had said something about butt, and they were just cracking up. And I turned around. I was putting dinner on the table. It was a nice Sunday evening. So I always, as long as my husband's home, try to do a nice Sunday dinner.
Sure.
Yes.
It's a great way to end our week and start next. So I was doing that, and she'd said something about butt, and the girls were laughing. So at the time, then I would have had an 8, a 5. And a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, I'm sorry. And because they're 2 years apart. So she said, but, and I turned around and I said, if I hear one more word about putt, boop, poop, poop, butt, whatever. And I was like doing that. And then they were dead silent. And then I just cracked up because it was too funny that it was such a dumb thing to be angry about.
Not to laugh at mommy.
They looked scared, but they were also like holding their breath. And then I started laughing, and then they died laughing. And pretty soon I was like crying to tears. Right. It was so funny that it was such a dumb thing for me to be yelling about. And my arms are going on. I'm tired of hearing it.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so glad to hear it's not just me that has
And all these years later, again, I mean, my youngest daughter at the time was 3, so my boys weren't born. They still laugh about that because it was so funny and such a natural thing going on in our own house. Like sometimes you just need to step outside yourself,
That's awesome.
It still cracks me up. I think, Yeah, that was a.
Do you realize that one's going to come back to you forever?
Oh, it's one that even I laugh about because I was in the moment trying to make this nice dinner and so aggravated. And then it just, as I'm yelling about it and listening to what I'm yelling, if I hear one more bit about butt, poop, anything, I just struck me as hilarious, and still it does. So I think we need to learn to laugh at ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And,
Laughter is the best medicine.
and laugh together.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
It's
Yes.
funny. So yes, our New Year's resolutions is I should tell my kids theirs is going to be no more of that at the table. And now you would think it would be better because they're a lot older.
Right.
But
No,
it's worse
it's
because now I have the little boys.
gosh.
I
yes.
think the whole thing, I think they try to push a few buttons because mom and dad are fun and hip.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with
Right.
us. But at the end of the day, too, as long as it's all in
It's
clean
good fun. That's
it's
it.
good banter.
Yeah.
It's not
good
making
family
fun of anyone or
bonding.
being mean. But you know,
Right.
it's funny. And then you throw the boys into the mix
Oh.
after they're born, and they're worse than the girls.
Of
But
course they
what's
are.
funny is my girls will totally set them up to be funny, and then you can't help but find them funny. So I mean,
I
it
love it.
is what it is. But yeah, I've kind of let go of that, of being so anal about
Yes.
being aggravated over silly things like that.
Yep.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
funny and
Yep.
whatever.
It's a work in progress, I think.
know. Aren't we
it's
all,
an
though?
everyday
That's
work in progress.
awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
So there were so many of these really good websites though about winter wellness. I wanted to
Sure,
start with one that is not funny. Discussing slips and falls in the winter, especially with our elderly and senior citizens. Can you give us some tips on whether it's our own home or a neighbor's home that we're helping to shovel? That's a wonderful thing, but sometimes it makes it more slippery.
Absolutely,
occasionally.
yeah.
There's no traction.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, can you give us some tips or some ideas that we can start with there?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, if you're an individual that's going to be getting out and about in the snow, you want to make sure that you have a good pair of boots that has good traction on the bottom. So, if you've had your snow boots for several years and you've utilized them a lot, chances are that traction isn't there anymore. And so, although, snow boots are expensive, or they can be, it's important because it helps to make sure and ensure that you're not going to slip and fall, or you have a less likely chance of slipping and falling.
Yeah.
I can't say that you're not going to slip and fall for
Certainly.
sure. But that would be the first thing to think about. And then in terms of if you're out shoveling and you're shoveling your own snow, I think we spoke about this probably back in November about making sure that you take it easy while you're shoveling.
Certainly.
And watching
we were
cues for your
discussing heart
body.
health,
Yeah,
remember?
yes, yep. Back in November, and just making sure that you're taking breaks and you're drinking plenty of water, and you're going in to get warm if it's extra cold out, and you're fully dressed nice and warmly, even if you have to wear a ski mask to make sure that you're you can keep your chest from the breathing, keep your chest warm and everything else that's safe, the best route to go for safety in that sense. If you're someone who's helping someone, like you said, Mary, keep in mind that when you shovel, sometimes it gets a lot slicker than it was before with even just the snow, because a lot of times we find that the snow gives a little bit of traction.
It is traction,
so
yeah.
Now we're like polishing the ice.
Yes,
I went to
that's what it feels like sometimes.
I know. Well, I went to Purdue for my undergrad degree, and that's exactly, we always called them the ice polishers, because they were like these giant, and that's what happens though. You go out, you shovel, you scrape, whatever, you're not getting that underlayer, or if it warms up a little bit and then gets cold, then you freeze it out. So making sure that the person that you're assisting has some sort of salt or sand or kitty litter, something for grit that they can put down before they step out of their doorway. Or you make sure that you do that and then let them know, this is when I did it now. The sun's coming out. Please be careful. Like really talking to those individuals about, just make sure that you're safe. Make sure that there's handrails on those individuals' steps if they have steps coming out of their house. And if they don't, make a recommendation for how they could make sure that they get out of their house safely.
Yeah.
That happened to me this morning. It's funny
Really?
you bringing this up. I actually called Norma. I left and I was running late.
Yeah.
And I had on, and this is where I screwed up, I had on my dress shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And I went out on my front little sidewalk, and the water, thing comes
Yes.
right over the sidewalk,
Yeah.
but we were really good about keeping that. I literally fell straight up on my
Oh,
butt, and I hit
sure.
my
Oh.
back when I literally went out, and I stopped what I was doing. I went inside, grabbed a big thing of salt, put it by the
Yeah.
front door, which I should have done anyways, but it's a covered area. And then I not only reminded my wife, but for a lot of us that are in-laws, in my case, my in-laws stopped by, my mom,
Sure.
they're both of the wiser years.
Yeah, oh my
and
goodness.
if they fall, God forbid, we all know.
Oh, yeah.
If they break a bone, it's a little tougher for them to
Well, do you
heal,
know?
Correct.
I mean,
Yes.
even in good health.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the winter,
exactly.
in the
Yes.
winter months especially, it
Agreed.
says
Yes.
that individuals over 50, the likelihood of them breaking an ankle or a hip during a fall is extremely elevated versus somebody under that. And so I think, how easy would that be? And that reminds me of the boots.
feel
Makes
it.
me think, what's nice is even if you just buy I would say, quote, or cheaper pair of snow boots, it's okay because they still generally come up over the ankle,
Yes.
which at least that's a little bit added support in
Correct.
case you slip and fall.
Yep, exactly.
You know,
And that
the
is
dress
really
shoes. I'm
important.
notorious for that. I mean, running out in my dress shoes, then thinking about it.
My wife goes,
Yeah.
don't you have a pair in your car? Don't you have the older pair in the garage? So,
Right.
a
Yeah.
shovel, I'll use it, but
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
come to work to then change my
Sure.
shoes. I'm like, yes, I do. And then you're kind of like, okay,
It goes
that
back
was
to planning.
stupid. Right.
It goes back to planning,
Right,
and I'm
exactly.
just as guilty. It's funny. I'll have 10 things laid out for the kids, but myself, I'm like racing around.
Right. Where'd those
their
go?
stuff's ready,
Yeah.
but for me, it's
Yes.
not. It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
kind of the way it
and
is.
we're
But the
guilty of
planning
that.
ahead
Yep.
is essential.
Yes,
honestly.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
okay, so that's perfect as far as elderly. I really wanted to
Yeah.
start there because a lot of us, and again, the neighborly thing to do is to help out our neighbors. Sure. But we also want to make sure that we're helping, not hurting.
Right. Well, and
So-
check with them first. I think that that's so important because, sometimes you think, oh, if I plow out my neighbor's driveway, it's going to help them so they don't have to shovel. But what you might not know is maybe they have a company that they pay to come and shovel, or maybe they have a family member who they're assisting in one way or another and they come out and shovel, or maybe that's a chore of one of their kids. And although, yes, it is neighborly, but maybe it's going to end up causing, like that ice to build
problem,
up because
more
they
problem,
weren't
yes.
quite ready to go out and shovel their drive yet, or they wanted to wait till the snowplow comes through so that it doesn't, bury them in again or even
Yeah.
worse, so things like that. Just really
Yeah.
being, maybe contact them and say, hey, I'm going to be out and I'd love to do this for you. Would you mind? And, and if they do care, they're going to say, I really appreciate the thoughtfulness behind that, but I have so-and-so who helps.
Yeah,
So
very good.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Okay, I was reading about, this is another one, trying to find an exercise motivation in the winter months is difficult.
Sure.
Just because, for one, we're very busy. This is
Right.
such a hectic time of year. Listening to you guys talk about how good you've done on your shopping.
Have you done your shopping yet, young lady?
No, I've done some of my shopping, but nowhere near what you guys, especially Sanders. Good Lord.
Done.
Yeah, he's like,
Can we hire him to do our shopping?
the
I wish
military
someone would
guy,
hire me
right?
for that. I'd love to go. It's just
Yes.
getting the chance
Finding the
to
time.
go.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially
Yes.
minus the kids.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and this time of year at the schools, it's a blast, but there's a lot of
A lot of
events and
stuff
a lot
going
of
on.
stuff going on. So we're there all of the time.
Yes.
But what would you recommend then to someone that you would possibly be coaching to kind of fine tune their own motivation or get realigned with their own motivation in their exercise program at all that they have, or even get started on one, even though it's before New Year's?
It's a
Absolutely.
good thing, though, I think.
Yeah.
Start before.
Well, it is absolutely because you don't have to just set a New Year's
Yeah.
resolution. Like I tell that to people all the time. You can set a resolution at any time of the year. It doesn't have to be just.
Don't
for
you
the
feel
new
like it
year.
almost helps to start early?
Absolutely
I feel like
agree.
Yep.
it's a little
Yes.
less pressure
Yeah.
to start and say, you know what, if you were to fall off that wagon already, hey, guess what? In a few weeks, you can, at least you've already started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do it
Get
again.
yourself
Start
right
over.
Here's
back
my
in it.
excuse.
Yeah.
I'm kind of using the, Mary Anthony and Katie Sarver approach where I'm already in it, but the last 2 weeks, as we are
Yeah.
human, you know what? I'm going to have a couple of things that
That's
may
what-
not be the best.
that's what
and
I've said,
I'll still
too.
do my walking. I'll still do my treadmill.
Yep.
But at the end, and I'll still go outside and get some exercise,
Yeah.
shoveling. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm right back in. I think the stress and the of it, you're into that. Next
Oh,
level,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for some reason, people always think, well, if I had bad food, there's no point in exercising because it's just, but that's totally not the
Yeah.
case. Go ahead and do your workout.
Sure.
That's perfectly fine. It's really good for you to do that. But one of the biggest things that I ask my coachees is, what are you wanting from this situation? What are you wanting in the next few weeks? And so then they're able to say, whatever the case may be, well, I just really want to get back on track. And when you think about getting back on track, what does that look like to you? And then they share some information with me. Well, that looks like me, getting on my treadmill for 25 minutes a day and doing push-ups and, sit-ups and lunges and squats. Okay. So when we talk about that, how can we fit that into your daily routine or your every other day routine? And then, they share that information with me in that case. And that's how we begin to notice where the motivation lies. If somebody comes and says, there's really nothing that I'm, wanting to do. I was just hoping that maybe you could give me some tips or whatever. They aren't self-motivated. That person is not motivated to make a change right now. And so I, as a coach, have to be prepared for that and aware of that. And then, we kind of discuss, okay, so if you were to want, to exercise, talk to me a little bit about what that would look like for you versus me just, handing you, here's a program. Because 99% of the time you're going to find that doesn't work. Certainly not. So, the person has to come up with the ideas, the thought behind it on their own. These are the things I'm comfortable with doing. I used to do personal training back in the day, right after I got out of college. And when we would do a routine for someone that was, pretty much like a standard, this is what we have to offer. And then once you've accomplished this, then we can kind of personalize it a little bit more. But you can't just do that. You have to take into consideration what are the limitations from that person? What are they able to do and what are they not able to do? And so I wouldn't take an individual that has knee injuries and start making them stand here and do wall sits for me, But if that's what the standard, like, here you go. I would hope
not. Killer visual.
Sorry about you, but this is how. So you have to really take that person's words. Think about yourself. Like, what could I physically do? What do I know that I could physically do? I know that I could walk a mile on a treadmill. That's a great start. That's a really good starting place. And better yet, let's even tone that down and say, let's aim for a half mile. And if you make it there, and then go ahead and move forward if you'd like to, but maybe you could do that tomorrow, And so it's like taking those baby steps, like we've talked about several times, but really putting the focus on the fact that exercise will help to keep you healthy during the winter. And, saying that this motivating factor of exercising can potentially make your immune system function better. And
I had a really interesting thing. I'm glad you pointed that out because that's why I was dying to pull this up. I had read this and couldn't remember which article I had seen it in, but it's like going for a walk, even in the very cold, as long as you're prepared, dressed appropriately and stuff, can actually, it makes your body work overtime to keep your body heat up. You can actually burn up to 50% more calories than you would this exact same walk in the summer. Not to mention the added layers of clothes and stuff that you have on. I mean, that alone is like, wow, it might be worth to, if as long as you're dressed for it, take that walk instead of on the treadmill outside. On a day that you happen to be at home. The fresh air we already know is good for us. The daylight is good for us, especially for those people that suffer seasonal depression kind of stuff. So I thought, wow, when you were talking about, it's okay, get out and walk. Get out and walk. You're going to burn more calories.
There is a ton of research behind it too that says that if you exercise during the winter months, you are significantly less likely to catch a cold or the flu. So, I mean, that's something else to think about.
I kind of like that all unto itself. When I was in high school and we did wrestling, I wrestled 89 pounds when I was skinny. And it was cute because we did.
It was cute.
We did the layers. But we do. The coach would say to us, "Go out," and that was something. It's funny you bring that up. It kind of brought me back many years. The calories you would burn and stuff, because you had to hit that goal. You had to hit that weight class to wrestle.
But you do want to be careful, though, to not overdress, like too much overdress. Because there's, the flip side of that, too, where dangerous. That could be dangerous. So, now I've put on my thermals and I've put on a pair of sweatpants and a pair of running pants and then I'm putting on snow pants and now I've got,
I would melt. The thought of that makes me melt.
Yeah. And so that could be significantly dangerous, too. So, dress for the temperature. Understand like how quickly does your body heat up, but make sure that you're not going out in shorts and a tank top like my son would because he thinks that's
the generation.
Okay.
Or the no jacket.
Right, the no jacket. But I'm hot,
guys,
Mom. I don't care.
Put on your gloves.
Put your stuff on.
Yes.
Sure.
Well, I have 10 tips for winter wellness that I want to just kind of, the one was just about the walking in the cold, but I just wanted to see.
Can you hold that real quick?
Absolutely.
Take a quick time out,
Yeah,
Katie. You guys
absolutely.
cool?
And then I just want to get your take on them.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Perfect.
good.
Sounds
Thanks.
We'll be back with Younger Life Live coming up in about a minute or so.
good. Okay.
During a medical emergency, every minute matters. That's why, at LaPorte Hospital, you'll find less waiting where you need it most, in our emergency room. In fact, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. And because we're a full-service hospital, we can provide more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at LaPorte Hospital.
Joyeux Noel.
Merry Kalikimaka.
Feliz Navidad.
Hello, my name is Father Walter Ciesla from St. Stanislaus Kotzgott Church and School here in Michigan City. St. Stanislaus Parish family and wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas. We invite you to celebrate the birth of our Savior with us this year. On Christmas Eve, we will have a family Mass at 4 o'clock p.m. Our midnight Mass will begin with the singing of Christmas carols at 11 o'clock p.m. and the midnight Mass will be celebrated promptly at 12 o'clock a.m. Following this Mass, we will serve breakfast in the church hall. On Christmas Day, you're welcome to join us for Christmas Mass at 10 o'clock a.m. We hope that your family will be able to share in this joyous season with us. Wesołych świąt Bożego Narodzenia i Szczęśliwego Nowego Roku. Have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Happy holidays from all of us at WIMS.
We are back, Younger Life Live. Rick Federici, Mary Anthony, Katie Sarver. I love the discussion today. It makes me feel good. And,
Well, it makes me feel, you know what it makes me feel? Motivated.
yes.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
inspired to say, hey, just because we are having a holiday party every couple days, and you think, oh, it's a little bit can be a little challenging to
Yes.
stick to our goals. It's also important to still allow for that, but not totally set those goals aside, which I think that's my common thing. Okay, we'll just put that on pause. But instead of putting it on pause, keep it, even if I'm not sticking to it 100%. It's still there, and it's in the back of your mind. So, even when you are eating desserts and stuff, you think, okay, maybe I'll have one
Yes.
of
Right.
whatever.
I agree.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
It's
agree.
easier to kind of go back to the moderation idea when you, even though there's so much of it going on,
Sure.
don't beat yourself up over it, which is another major thing we find in every time we've discussed wellness goals, fitness goals, diet goals. We find people, you beat yourself up.
Oh, yeah.
Which does nothing except make you feel bad and make you want to reach for something that makes you feel better, for people, especially dieters, they go for that comfort food that, and then you feel bad over it. And it's just a cycle. It seems so silly to me that we do that and, make ourselves feel terrible. And working out, if you skip a workout, oh, yeah.
I'm done now. Never
Yeah,
mind.
but
Yeah.
instead of feeling like that, think, wow, what about all those other ones I did? Okay,
Right,
so I missed
exactly.
one. Big
Play
deal.
it a little
Start
bit
over.
harder next time. Give
That's
yourself,
it.
do an extra
Sure.
5 or 10 minutes or whatever.
That's
it may be.
absolutely
And you
right.
brought up something that with the family events and the get-togethers during the holidays and
Yeah.
during Christmas, you go for that dessert, and this is what I do. I'll do half of it or a quarter of it or just nibble on it. But you put it to your mouth and you enjoy
Well,
it.
I'll tell you, if it's something that I love, I'm not going for half of it. But I'm going to try to make sure I don't
Honesty,
have
I
it
just
again.
love it. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
It's the truth.
until tomorrow.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, until the next holiday party.
Leftovers, Yeah.
But still.
Way to go, Marie Anthony.
Yeah, there we are. But still, it's true. So, just real quick, because this is just a list of 10, and we've
Please.
already discussed
Sure.
a couple.
Yeah.
I just, professionally, you do health coaching, and it's why we really value your opinion on this. This is stuff you share with real people that see you for real coaching issues and concerns. I just wanted to get your take on this. This
Sure,
is just
absolutely.
10 general tips.
You going backwards 10
It's
to
not-
1?
Well, I started at the first one, but we already talked about the first one. It's walking even in the really cold. This
Got
is
it.
not just about food and fitness. This is just about wellness in general, that's why I think I liked it. It's a little bit
Absolutely.
broader.
Sure. Absolutely.
So it does. This is something we already talked about too. If you're finding it hard to get motivated, or finding it hard to recall why your motivation is to stick to any sort of fitness level in the winter months, it says to just remember that it's much harder to get back on track in the spring than it is to maintain, even if you're maintaining at half pace through the winter. Do you agree with that?
I can agree with that. I
Yeah.
can definitely agree with that, because when spring comes, so yeah, in the wintertime we have a lot of parties and festivities and functions, and it is hard, but we find that we have a lot more free time in the winter months because we're not doing as much. We're not committed to as much. Come spring, you start your garden. You start, mowing grass, which can be exercise. But your kids, if you have children, they start getting involved in sports.
Yeah.
And then it's just this like cycle of all of this stuff. And then all the time I hear, oh, I want to get fit before spring break. I've got 1 week to, no, you know what? It would have been better if we would have started in the winter and then just kept
even
it
at
going.
half pace. I mean, at least then you're still something's going.
Yeah. So
rather than
I
trying
would
to
agree with
teach
that one.
yourself that habit.
Yep.
So that's why I like.
And one of the other things, just to throw out there, and I think you guys have brought this up several times before, but I have absorbed over the last year with Younger Life and just looking at the way I do things, you can't just jump into something, as you had mentioned, for a week. You really have to start it and make it a process, because you're changing your lifestyle. You're making a change.
You're changing your body too.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And your body does not change overnight. And if you do something drastically to try to lose, I'm saying weight because you said spring break thing, that's not healthy.
No.
It's very hard on your heart
Yes.
to gain a lot of weight, and it's very hard on your heart to lose a lot of weight fast.
Right.
It has to. It's definitely a process.
And a lot of us know that you might, just let's be honest, you might lose it and look great, but you could gain it back just as quick. You have to make a lifestyle change.
Yeah, research shows that you gain it back more quickly and
more weight plus
than you did when you do it,
which I think is true. I think I've
Easily
lived that too.
the general rule of thumb is you can safely lose 1 to 2 pounds per week and be able to sustain that, maintain it, and keep it off moving forward. If you're losing more than that, and of course you hear the people, well, I lost 15 pounds in 1 week. Well, a lot of that was probably water weight.
Certainly.
And so you have to really be kind of conscious about what.
And if that's happening regularly, you need to see your doctor.
Correct.
I mean, something's honestly wrong. That's not natural.
Absolutely.
I've read the 1 to 2 pounds a week many times, and I think that's realistic.
Yep.
That's,
you got it.
I'll take 8 pounds
It's
in a month.
achievable. It's
oh my goodness.
maintainable. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would take the 4.
Right?
But
Hold on, wait, take 2. I'll take 1. No,
Yeah, right.
especially this time of year. But it's very, very
That's
true.
good
so.
though, Rick. See, look at that. That's positive. A quarter pound a week,
Yeah. Yes. There you go. Hey, we can remain positive anytime that there's a loss on the scale, you can remain positive. So this was, I thought, an interesting tip. It said instead of grabbing a cup of hot cocoa, which a lot of us do after we've been playing outside with the kids and stuff, especially, try different forms of herbal teas.
Love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not much of a tea drinker. You do?
You?
Oh yeah, I
Really?
love tea.
I love coffee.
Yeah.
But I do sweeten my coffee, so it's probably just as bad as hot chocolate. When you're doing teas, do you experiment with different teas, like more for the winter specifically, or is it just?
Oh yeah, so
really,
in our household we have a lot of different teas. So
Really?
yep, and our kids absolutely love them. So for example, we have a tea called Breathe Easy, and it has I think there's eucalyptus and peppermint maybe, and chamomile and a couple other things in there, and it helps the kids. When you drink that, it kind of helps to you sniff it in and whatnot, clears
Open
up
the
your areas,
sinuses,
and doesn't
soothes the
not so
throat.
much coughing
Is that
and
in a
whatnot.
tea bag, or
It's in
you-
a tea bag, yeah.
And
But
is
you
that
can buy
considered a
the
black
dry.
or green or?
I think it's a black tea. It's caffeine free though.
Oh, it is
so,
caffeine.
good.
Yep. Okay, that'd
Yep.
be my only concern.
So,
with
all of
for
the
the
teas that
kids.
we give to our kids are caffeine free, and so
Do you add? I don't mean to interrupt, but do you add like a sweetener or sugar? Because teas sometimes have that unique. I don't want to say bitter, but a unique.
It is bitter.
generally not. They don't really. The kids really don't even ask for that. But occasionally we'll put in like a teaspoon of honey.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but that's,
That's
I
good.
mean, that's it.
Yeah.
So, my Nana was from England, and so she's
Oh.
British. So there was always tea time, and so I grew up because my mom would do it too. So we would enjoy a cup of tea together, and my mom does tea parties with the kids, and
Yeah,
and
that's cute.
they will ask for tea to drink, hot tea to drink, and they always put a little ice cube in there, and they love it. But there's things like I'm really kind of hooked on this lemon zinger right now, which
what's
has
that?
it's a black tea that has like a lemon essential oil almost in it, which is really good for immune
Absolutely.
boosting. And it actually turns almost a red color, but it just has this beautiful scent to it, and it's very refreshing, and
It's good for your throat,
Yeah, it's
too,
good for your
honestly.
throat. There's flavored ones out there but they're not flavored with like your sugars and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're flavored with actual, like maybe it's apple peel or
Well, that's interesting.
oils
I've
from
really
that.
been, you know, I read that and thought, well, that's nice, but I mean,
Try
if you
it.
come in wanting with the honey in it, I could see the
It
draw.
just gives enough. So
there's also, I've read like the apple cider teas. I bet, or I've never tried them though because my kids like iced tea.
Sure.
My older ones they drink iced tea occasionally. My husband loves iced tea. All my in-laws love iced tea. So they they're used to that on occasion, but I don't really buy hot tea because I don't like tea.
do it. Just
But
try it.
I would love to try
encouraging
some
you
of
to
that.
try it. Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you
Yeah.
getting this from? If you don't mind me asking.
You can get it from any
Anywhere.
grocery store. Any.
what's-
I'm going to try that.
What's the lemon one? I want to write that one
So
down.
it's called Lemon Zinger, but I can't remember off the top of my head what the brand is.
No
but yeah,
problem.
Lemon
It's
Zinger.
fine.
Yeah.
Lemon
Yeah.
And
Zinger.
I love it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try that too.
My
Yeah.
wife's mom, my mother-in-law,
Yeah.
puts she goes Mexican style tea,
Okay.
but she puts the full cinnamon sticks in it.
Oh yeah.
So that's okay,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because you're not adding calories with that
Certainly.
sort of stuff. So, whereas like if you're putting cream and you're putting sugar in there, I mean, yeah, is a teaspoon of it going to be not in a big mug of tea, not like a hot cocoa drink?
Yeah, yeah.
You'd be much better off if you made up some tea with just a
That
teaspoon
made
of
perfect
sugar.
sense, and I
Yeah.
can see why that would be just as
It will-
you go to hot cocoa because it's comforting
Yes.
and snuggly.
Yes.
So would
Yeah.
a cup
Right.
of hot tea.
Well, and it reminds you of childhood, all
Oh,
those
yeah.
sorts
Oh,
of things.
totally
But you
does.
can also make your own hot cocoa mix, which wouldn't have as many sugars and as many additives in it. There's a lot of fabulous ones out on Pinterest or
Really?
out on the
How
net
neat.
that you can find. And I've done that several times with, like cocoa powder and then a little bit of sugar and you use, whole milk and whatnot. So, I mean, there are a variety of different things out there. So you're not getting in all of the extra stuff that might be purchased in a package.
Right,
But,
right.
you're still getting that yummy hot cocoa. But real fast about those teas again.
Yeah.
When you have ones that have like flavoring, like an apple cinnamon or a lemon or whatever, and you add just a tiny hint of sweetener to it, like honey, it really draws out those flavors. Whereas just standard black tea will probably be pretty harsh.
Yeah.
We like, I'm probably going to botch the name and I'm sure my husband will laugh at me, but it's called Bruibush, something like that, but it's spelled funny. R-O, I don't even
it
know.
French or
B-O-S. I have no idea.
knows?
No, I think it's South African actually.
Oh, okay.
And it is a red tea. And I used to always laugh because when we were first married, I stopped buying it for my husband because he would pass out after he would drink. And I was like, no, we're supposed to watch a movie or,
Yeah.
and
For
so
real?
stop.
Just
Yes,
crashed him
because
out?
it's just so, it just kind of calms you.
soothing.
And we buy that in whole leaf now, and we'll drink that, in the evenings and whatnot. I don't
Right
add
before
any
bed?
sweetener, but I don't add any sweetener to that at all.
Does that
so.
truly? There's a lot of people out there, including myself. If I get 4 hours, I'm lucky. But like for example,
Yeah.
when you have a lot of stuff going and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and try, religiously recently to not look at my clock because
Sure.
it does put something in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
But does that help for you?
For me, yes. So, I mean, this is a personal thing. It might not help
Yeah,
for everybody,
right.
but
Certainly.
I find that a cup of warm tea before bed is, as long as it's caffeine free, I don't
Right.
drink caffeine anyway, but that,
At all?
no, I get sick from it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's craziness. Yeah. So,
I've actually had people ask me based on a show that we did with you, and you were a witness to it yesterday. That we were having lunch together, a bunch of us, and did you really give up coffee, Rick? And I said, well,
Oh, yes.
I gave it up for X days, but I did have a cup over the weekend,
Yeah.
and I try to vary it. But a lot of people say they get headaches when they don't have their caffeine or their coffee. Do you feel that way?
I do.
like
I
an
notice it really is. I notice because I have a cup of coffee at least every morning.
Sure.
And
nothing
if
wrong
I
with that.
don't, I do notice occasionally by like mid-afternoon, I'll have a little nagging headache, and I always think it's got to be just not having my coffee.
I think it's
If for
more
some
related
reason-
to dehydration. Let me just put that out there.
Really?
So, I mean,
Explain.
because
When you don't have the coffee?
when you don't, so let's say you don't have coffee, but you're not substituting it with anything.
Yeah.
Caffeine is a natural, it naturally dehydrates
Yes.
your body. Okay. And so thinking about that, like I drink
Oh.
my coffee, but then I don't have any water with that. I'm not making sure that I'm getting enough fluid
Yeah.
intake in other ways. a lot of times people will get headaches from those sorts of things. So is it really
That's
the
true.
caffeine
Yeah.
that is the issue, or is it the lack of other fluid getting into your
That
body?
definitely could be,
So,
right.
Think about
and
those.
water brings up another good point that was on this tip thing.
Mm-hmm.
Skin health. A lot of people don't address our skin enough in the winter.
yes.
Because,
Yep.
we talk about all the time in spring and summer, about making sure you're blocking the sun, putting on everything.
Right.
But it's so important to moisturize and get enough water in
absolutely.
the winter because
Absolutely.
It's so drying. The colder temperatures, it's hard on the
Yep.
skin.
Well, and the heat
very
running,
drying.
and if you don't
Oh,
have
the
a
heat, the front
humidifier,
is-
and you got a
fireplaces.
fireplace going, all of that's going to dry out your skin. So moisturize, drink plenty of water. And the other thing is that if you're going skiing, sledding, being out in the snow, even just walking, the reflection off from the sun can really burn your skin. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing SPF even in the winter.
Yeah.
So it's not just a summer thing. You wanna
Water
make sure that you're
recommendation, still 8 glasses a day.
8 glasses a day, 8-ounce glasses a day.
That's a lot.
That is a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. But it is a lot.
Think of it this way. You buy those little mini, have you ever seen those mini bottles of water?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You used to use them all the time for the kids when they were little.
You can down one of those so quickly.
You're
I
right.
poured one into a cup yesterday, actually, and it didn't even seem like that much. I drank it down, filled it back up, poured it in, drank it down. And you just do that over the course of a day, kind of just set yourself up for, starting at 8
8 of those a
a.m.
day?
Yeah, 8 of those little ones a day.
You know what I try to do? I try to
not
buy the
that bad.
bottle that's about 24 ounces, so it's 3. I tell myself I know if that's gone, to
Yep.
drink that obviously.
Well,
3
and you have
times.
to drink it within a certain amount of time.
Try to
if you do
get
it that
out.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
There's-
to do that.
Yeah.
Another one that I really liked this, it says, try to gain an interest in an indoor sport as opposed to the cycling or the joggers. For one, we know walking in the cold can burn more calories, but it also, if you do not have the appropriate gear or it's dangerous out, don't go out and do it, especially alone. I mean, if you were to fall and get hurt, this is true for any sport, anything you're
Agreed.
doing, even in the summer months. But if you're alone and get hurt, what are you going to do? I mean, be prepared. So, but I liked this idea of trying an indoor sport. It says swimming is an indoor sport. That's a great option. It's good. It's easy on the joints.
Love
It's good for you.
Absolutely.
And cardio, it's a great cardio workout as well. So, do you guys recommend that at all to patients, clients?
Oh,
do you,
absolutely.
especially in the winter months? People think swimming. I mean, our YMCA's.
Love
swimming. Yep.
I know the hospital has a few warm water.
We do, yes. Yeah, they're called therapy pools. However, people who have a pool membership, which is just a punch card, and they get to utilize, they can schedule appointments and be able to walk on the treadmill that's submerged in the water and all of that. So yeah, great outlet for
Another
for
tip,
exercise.
it says buy indoor plants to soften up the atmosphere, which I thought was interesting. And also it helps to give off moisture and oxygen and
Absolutely.
brighten your own mood naturally
Yeah.
too, which I think, that's true.
Yep, just like with a fresh Christmas tree.
I know, I love it.
Brings in that oxygen, that fresh scent,
Love
kind of
that pine
cleans
smell.
things up. Yeah, so yeah,
it's to say, obviously, winter months, caught a cold or flu. If the infection is above the neck in your nose and throat primarily, you can still actually do a low intensity workout.
Correct. Yeah. It's
However,
not in your chest. If it gets into your chest, that's where we need to be careful.
Call your
So,
doctor.
Yep. So
Okay.
head cold.
40 seconds,
rest
ladies.
still recommended.
Get
Obviously,
lots of sleep.
lots of rest.
And,
and-
Yeah, Rick.
Rick needs to hear this real fast, that men who slept only 4 hours a night for 1 week produced only half the amount of flu-fighting antibodies in their blood, jump-started by a flu shot, compared with those who slept 7.5 to 8.5 hours. Sleep, Rick, please.
Leave it
Get
on that
some
note,
sleep.
ladies.
There we go.
Yeah, Ricky.
Merry Christmas.
On behalf of us all, Younger Life Live. Thank you, Katie Sarver.
For all of the information, not just
Awesome.
today, but
Thank
all
you.
of these weeks.
Thank
We
you.
loved
being with
having
you guys.
She
you.
needs
So
a
thank
raise.
you.
I'm Rick
Yes,
Ricky.
she does. I'm Mary Anthony.
AM
Thanks.
1420, WIMS, Michigan City, a Girard Media Company station.
CBS News. I'm Steve Kaith, and the Marines have filed charges against